We've seen goals, saves, we've seen hits, and we've seen fights. We've even seen the hockey version of a backflip. It's been a long time, but there is no doubt this battle is back as we ring the bell for round number 4. Good evening, everybody. This is Dave Randorf, along with Louis DeBrusque, who's buckled in between the Finches tonight. And you've already heard from Scott. The Saddle Dome on this Saturday has been buzzing for about 45 minutes as we drop the puck between two teams that are two of the hotter teams in the NHL right now. Both have won 7 of their last 10. Oilers dump the puck in and it's loose, batted away by Riddick. Leon Draisaitl line is out there. Draisaitl with a 10-game point streak. Tyler Yamamoto. So Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. He'll keep the puck deep and it's meant behind the net by Hamonic. He's given a check and the puck comes loose. Left bomb in towards the net. Loose. Scores! Yamamoto! 1-0 Edmonton.
So many times in this series, it's been the Flames that have struck first and early in periods. In this forecheck, right out of the gates by the Oilers. The shot by Klefbom, not handling it. It's Yamamoto on the doorstep that puts this home. Early on in this shift, it was Ryan Nugent-Hopkins that penetrated in and denied the icing, kept it alive. They went to work in the offensive zone. 1-0 Edmonton. That's a huge early goal for them against a team that's had their number this year and has scored a lot of early goals in periods. 29 seconds in, they make it 1-0.
The Flames have scored first in all 3 meetings up until tonight, and that is a very early goal. 29 seconds in from a guy who has really been a revelation since he's been called up. Tyler Yamamoto, who also scored on Wednesday night in the meeting down in Edmonton. Now the Flames push the puck in. Comes around the boards, and it's going to be picked up by Zach Kassian. Kassian centering pass just into the reach of McDavid. Pulls away from him now. Back the other way comes Mangiapane. Andrew Mangiapane curls back. He is checked by Kassian. And Edmonton clears it down the ice. McDavid pressuring Brody. Puck comes free for Josh Archibald. Out in front, Kassian scores! And are the Oilers ready to go tonight?
Wow. What a start for them. And this is something Matthew Tkachuk talked with our Scott Oak about before the game. And the hit on the ice in the warm-ups, he said, we have to be ready for this team. They're going to be hot. They're going to be ready. And they have been ready. Again, an aggressive forecheck puck that's bobbled. It's Archibald that jumps on that loose puck, and he finds Kassian. And what a job by Kassian to take this on the forehand, elevate it in one motion over the shoulder of Riddick for a 2-0 lead very early in this game. The Oilers have come to play.
That is 2 goals in 36 seconds by Edmonton. As mentioned,
Calgary has won all 3 meetings, and Edmonton has really struggled to win in this building in the last several years, but off to a very hot start tonight. Draisaitl's line back out there for Edmonton. Johnny Gaudreau up there with Sean Monahan and Buddy Robinson, recently added to this Calgary lineup. And he's the recipient of that pass. He'll just dump it in. In behind the net, comes in front, and Mike Smith comes back and makes amends for a turnover as he takes one away. The net was wide open.
Aspiration save by him. It was Johnny Gaudreau in front that had the wide open net, it looked like, and somehow Smith's able to get back and play it. And you're right, Dave, right there. That little backhand pass goes to the wrong guy. Gaudreau thinks he's got a wide open net. But the second effort of Mike Smith to stay in the battle right there with the paddle, gets it down and denies him on the doorstep. Wow.
we're not even 2 minutes into this game, Louis.
Crazy.
Face-off pullback by Derek Ryan. Snapshot right on the target off the stick of Dylan Dubé. Wins the drawback. They feed the point to Hanifin. His drive is whistled wide. Picked up by Ryan into the corner. Lucic checked. And it comes free for Shan. He'll poke it up the boards. Russell lifts it back out to center, and backing up is Rasmus Anderson. Anderson takes his time and goes across to Hanifin. Back to Anderson, being watched there by Jujhar Khaira. Back inside the Flames blue line, backing up is Anderson. There's that forecheck pressure again, this time by Riley Sheahan. In comes Khaira as well. And finally, Calgary works the puck into their zone. Up ahead to the defenseman, Hanifin. Hanifin on the backhand, beat that one in the corner. Ryan gets on to that. Derek Ryan walks it out, looking for options. Pulls it back, and Oscar Klepov takes over from there. Icing waved off, rolls right in on the Flames net anyway. And a few Oilers fans in attendance.
Bronx cheer.
Yeah, a little razz there for Riddick. I think they remember how the game ended on Wednesday night.
They might have, a little showboating afterwards and in a battle that's already intense enough. I'll tell you, these two teams, the hockey gods have blessed us with these two teams not liking each other again, which is great for the game.
Flames driving away the offensive zone. Backlund shot is blocked. Bennett gets it back to Giordano. Giordano's pass across was to Brody, was just outside the line, but they send it back in. Smith aggressively out of his net, knocks it down, and plays it up. Here's Gagne at center. Gagne dumps it inside the Flames line. They go D to D and up to center. Mangiapane with a one-touch pass. Lindholm trying to pick his way into the zone. Comes free in the corner for Connor McDavid. Up ahead to Cassian. Some quick space passes, but it doesn't work as Edmondson is hemmed right now. In goes Mangiapane. McDavid strips his man and finds Cassian, who's got one of the goals, the early goals tonight for Edmondson. Now the Flames have regained their balance after this hot start by the Oilers. Back inside the line, it goes across. There's Hamonic with a drive, blocked in front by Caleb Jones. Matthew Tkachuk. Backhand pass out in front of Lindholm, and he is tied up by Cassian to the line and not out. Hamonic holds his ground, sends it all the way around the boards. Hanifin can't contain it, and here comes McDavid trying to chip it past Hamonic, who does well to tap it away from him. Tkachuk at center. He'll send it in, and that line will change. Johnny Gaudreau first to the puck. He's given a check there by Larson. Comes out in front for Robinson. His shot goes wide. Buddy Robinson coming close. Across to Giordano. Giordano fakes, cuts in, lost the handle of the puck. And it comes back along the near side boards for Yamamoto.
Right there.
He'll dump the puck in, and Riddick comes out of his head to sweep it into the corner. Flames work it back near side. Gaudreau back to the captain, Giordano. Along the dashers up to center ice. Monahan was stood up, and the Oilers work it back inside the line for Yamamoto. Yamamoto in behind the nets. Wait for his mates to catch up. Here's Nurse with a drive. That's knocked down in front of Riddick. And skated up by Shillington. Shillington is checked right there on the line by Russell. But he gets the puck deep.
Probably an excellent pace to this game. Both teams have their feet going early in this game. Some good traction down low by the Flames to push back after a couple goals against. And you look at the last meeting after the game. This is the last shootout attempt by Draisaitl, the poke check by Riddick, and the little backflip into the ice celebration. You know what? I don't mind it. That's just Riddick being Riddick. He's one of those guys that maybe the Oilers didn't like it too much. And they've come out shooting pucks and getting them to the net with an early 2-0 lead. A little payback for them after a tough loss Wednesday night against their division rival.
Right now it's 2 goals on 2 shots. Shillington in towards the net, goes into the corner where it's picked up by Nurse. Nurse, who is credited with 12 hits in the game against the Flames on Wednesday.
And has that little edge to his game, not afraid to go over that line the odd time, and just a formidable opponent when you're trying to go up against him. You know you're going to get hit.
Pulled back by Leon Draisaitl, who comes into the night the leading scorer in the NHL, a couple of points ahead of McDavid. Riddick up to Lucic. Pressure there by Shane. And it's forced just outside the line. Edmonton dumps it back in. Rasmus Anderson hands it off the end boards to Shillington. Shane back towards it and tipped right in front by Chason. That's a nice stop by Riddick, one that he needed.
Well done by Todd Woodcroft in Bakersfield, and what can happen when players get the proper seasoning in the minors, Dave.
Yamamoto came in on New Year's Eve, scored a goal in that game, and hasn't stopped since on that line with Draisaitl and Nugent Hopkins.
He's just changed the whole complexion of the top 6 for Edmonton. allowing Draisaitl and McDavid to stay separated. That second line now, Nugent Hopkins, Draisaitl, and Yamamoto flying on all cylinders.
In comes Mangiapane into the middle for Lindholm. Rolling puck, couldn't find it. No shot, and it's cleared by Edmondson. Up the ice, back the other way comes McDavid, dropping it off for Kassian. His shot high over the glove of Riddick.
That was a laser by Kassian. Trying to pick that glove hand side just a little bit high, but it was off the stick in a hurry.
Mangiapane banks back to Giordano. His drive, saved by Smith. Giordano again taps the one into the corner. And behind the goal, Tkachuk trying to pin his man. But Edmonton works it back out to down the ice.
That wasn't an easy save for Smith. That blast by Giordano, the one-timer from the blue line through that traffic. Good control by Smith in that shot.
Sam Bennett assists in his last 2 games. He's in deep. Wrap around on the front beat. Stopped by Smith. It trickles through and out the other side. As Reeder got a shot away, Smith got a piece. And Edmonton got a break as that was just wide. Calgary with the puck again. Bennett cuts back. Nice little play to himself. Creates a little space, but can't center it against Cliffbaum. Flames with a quick shot. Fans urging on the home team as they have really been pushing back since that second Edmonton goal. Hamonic up in the play. Goes in after it. Lays a big hit on Cliffbaum. Yamamoto lost the handle. Backlund gets after it. And Yamamoto recovers and strips him of the puck. The Calgary gets back onto it. Shillington got a toe drag move and wasn't able to finish up. Draisaitl back the other way. Ryan Nugent Hopkins, long-range snapshot, kicked aside by Riddick. Centering attempt. Yamamoto all the way around the net. Backhand feed to Benning. Benning across to Jones. In towards the net. Hit his own man in front. Nugent Hopkins to Draisaitl. Yamamoto darting around, up high in the zone to Jones, bounces off his stick, and they got to come out. Caleb Jones, who scored last night in a win against the St. Louis Blues. Needs a point, quick drive, and that hits the side of the net. Now it's Edmonton grinding away, and a penalty call is coming up. Play is called, and the holding infraction is announced, that we're going to get our first power play of the night, and it's going to be for the Calgary Flames.
Yeah, it's going to be Yamamoto heading to the box. That blast by Giordano was not easy to save through all that traffic.
Truck of the year. Flames win the draw. They throw it around and set up. Donnie Gaudreau back to Giordano. Giordano to Matthew Tkachuk inside out front for Monahan, and he couldn't get it to the net. Partially blocked in front. Back the other way comes Sheahan, short-handed. Riley Sheahan with a shot. Big save by Riddick and a big rebound. Picked up by the Flames, and here they come back up the ice. Inside the line, cross ice to Tkachuk. Gaudreau got their second against Josh Archibald. And Calgary's got to reset. Calgary's power play, middle of the pack, but much better at home. 8th overall in the NHL on home ice. They come inside the line. It's banked back to Giordano. Into the corner, Lindholm. Their leading goal scorer. He's got the puck now. Looks, beats it down low. Centering pass. Bodies all around. Puck goes up, and Mike Smith's got it, and nurses all over.
Now look at Chuck, but
all over
the side of the net. Good puck movement by the Flames in this power play, and a couple real good chances in front. Monahan has had 2 excellent chances. The first one right out of the gates in the slot where he loves to release the puck from. And it goes off the head, I believe, of Klefbom. It hits something in front for sure. And watch it right here, the down low play, bang, bang, slot, and Klefbom, who went down to try and deny that taking the puck to the net, takes one right off the noggin. No worse for wear, and then the shorthanded chance by Sheahan, the nice shot, far side, goes off the pad. That was a juicy rebound that almost got gobbled up. And then that last play, Tkachuk in tight and so good around the net. And then a little extra whack afterward. Monahan had a little chance to elevate that puck over a down. Smith put it over the net, and then a little extra after the whistle.
Another face-off win by the Flames allows them to set up. Ryan got to feed it in there. Here's a one-time rocket from Hanifin, and it goes wide. Backlund to Noah Hanifin. Hanifin to Ryan. Steps in, shoots in. Smith has got that and hangs on.
Calgary Wednesday, but gets the start again tonight, and he's been good and dialed in early on here.
And this is 599th career game. Not start, but game. Up ahead to Backlund. Backlund shot swept aside by Smith and cleared by Edmonton with 26 seconds to go in this power play for the Flames. Edmonton, a top 10 penalty killing team, number 1 on the road. Ryan lost possession. McDavid gave it to Klefbom, and Klefbom does the rest. And this is pretty much going to do it for the power play. 2 shots on this man advantage for the Flames as Yamamoto steps out of the box. 2-0 Oilers.
Sorry, Dave. Draisaitl and McDavid at the tail end of the penalty kill. A couple dangerous penalty kills right there.
Flames back inside the Edmonton line. Larson plays it to himself along the side boards, and it's bounced out to center ice. Pushed back in by Draisaitl. The game he had last night, a couple of goals, including the winner against the defending Stanley Cup champs. Up ahead to Lindholm. Lindholm didn't like what he saw, so he resets to Brody, and Brody pounds that puck in. 8 minutes to go in the first period. Round number 4, this Battle of Alberta. Sam Gagner up ahead to Gaetan Haas. Haas cutting back, throws it back to the points. Jones dancing around, trying to create a lane, goes near side to Benning. Benning recently back in the lineup, was out with a concussion, and he's got points in both games since he's been back. Haas into the corner. Jason's up in the play as well. Battling behind the Flames net, and Calgary comes up with the puck. Johnny Gaudreau to Robinson, back to Gaudreau. Back inside to the big guy, Robinson scores! Buddy Robinson!
The big guy gets the Flames back in the game.
Well, I'm telling you, he's been sniffing every single game he's played. This 3rd game with the Flames, he's had chances in every single game. And how fitting that it's his childhood buddy, Gaudreau, that sets him up for his first goal with the organization. It's a great job by him to punch through, get himself to that spot. For a big guy, he's got a sweet set of mitts. Man, nice little elevation right at the last second. Doesn't try and overplay it, waits for that split second, looks, chips it over the pad of Mike Smith. There's a good drive through the middle, and it's a 1-goal game.
Was the Flames' leading goal scorer in their minor league affiliate, the American League in Stockton, called up on Tuesday, moved up the lineup, and he responds with a big one tonight. There's a good stop by Riddick, and this place is alive now. It's 2-1, 7 minutes to go in the first. McDavid in behind the net, feeds it out to Cassian. Cassian's shot is blocked right in front of him. Leaves it now for McDavid. McDavid along the blue line in tight quarters with Ethan Bear, sends it in. Cassian against Hanifin, back to the point for Nurse. Backs it in the corner for McDavid. McDavid, one-hand pass to Josh Archibald on this line in the absence of the injured James Neal. Pushed up into the corner. There's Cassian and Archibald. Archibald cutting back and puts it to open ice. With possession time inside the blue line for Edmonton as they work it around. Now in front, trying to find Archibald, and a penalty call is made. And it's going to be an Edmonton power play.
Well, the chant here a few moments ago was Buddy, Buddy for Buddy Robinson and his first goal as a Flame. Me and Johnny Gaudreau, childhood friends, so it was appropriate that it was Gaudreau's pass that Robinson converted for the goal. Robinson, 6'6", a picture making the rounds on social media when the two were line mates in high school in New Jersey, underscores the size difference. Gaudreau convinced Robinson to sign with the Flames a few years ago, so 3 games now with Calgary, and it seems he was wise to listen to his childhood friend, Dave.
So Edmonton with their first power play of the night. Here's Klefbom on the drive, and it's tipped wide of the net into the corner and cleared by the Flames. Power play brought to you by Ram, winner of Motor Trend Truck of the Year. Out comes McDavid, drops it back for Klefbom. Klefbom into a crowd off the stick of Nugent Hopkins, in on Riddick, and he clears it himself.
smart play by Riddick right there. Doesn't try and put it to a corner, looks up and says, I'll put this down myself. Valuable to be able to do that, play the puck that well.
Edmonton has had the #1 power play for the majority of this season. They've been very good with the man advantage. Only one power play goal, however, all season against the Flames in the previous 3 meetings. Scored by that guy right there, Alex Chason, on Wednesday night. Puck rolls out in front and it's controlled by Brody and lifted out on the backhand and down the ice.
It's similar to the game Wednesday day. 3 straight power plays for Edmonton in that third period. They didn't score in any of them because of the aggressive penalty kill of the Flames. They were aggressive in that game and they've been aggressive in this one here. No time and space with the puck on your stick. The plays have to be quicker, sharper, or else they're going to just battle you to the ground and make sure that puck goes down.
Leon Draisaitl bowls his way in. Backhand pass to Kassian. Shoots wide. That was close. Back to the point. It goes to Nurse. Across to McDavid. Looks. Shoots. Right on. Riddick will stop. McDavid to Bear. Bear back to Darnell Nurse. Nurse beats Draisaitl. Back to Nurse. Near side for McDavid. In hold. Shoots. Scores! Connor McDavid. Power play goal. 3-1 Edmonton.
What a shot by McDavid, but again, the penalty killing that's been so aggressive was stationary on this last sequence. And that's what allowed McDavid to take this puck, gain the ice, and take the shot after a great recovery in the corner after a shot.
Move the puck around, no pressure. He walks in, fakes, gets Hanifin to bite to go down to a knee, and then goes around and elevates far side past David Riddick. And that's just recognizing what's happening. If you have the time, take the space that's given. That's exactly what McDavid does, and he buries it.
McDavid's 28th goal of the season.
His 450th career point. And it restores a 2-goal lead for the Oilers. As that top power play in the NHL makes Calgary pay. Flames dump it back inside the line and go right back to work. Banked off the glass and up and out of play. Tipped on the way out. Faceoff will be inside the Edmonton blue line. And with that, we will take a break.
On to McDavid.
We got a fight.
Oh, hold on here. Now we got Buddy Robinson and Jujhar Khaira squared off. And the first fight of the night, 2 big guys. And Khaira wrestles Robinson to the ice.
Well, I'll tell you, knew something was going to boil over here. And Buddy Robinson with his first goal as a Calgary Flame in his first NHL fight this year. And just a terrific job by him, and also Khaira stepping up and answering the bell.
He wins it, holding it back behind Mike Smith, who's got a 2-goal lead to work with again. Back of the way comes Yamamoto. Down the left side, cuts back, holds on, and then a nice little backhand feed to Nugent Hopkins. To Draisaitl, who also picked up an assist on the McDavid goal. Yamamoto back to the point. That bomb sends it back in there, but turned it over to Lindholm, and Lindholm thought he was passing to somebody, but this is going to be icing against, and he ties his career high in points. Sean Monahan lifts that one high in the air and deep into the Edmonton zone. Darnell Nurse rolls off the forecheck, makes a nice little play to Kassian. That goes off a skate, but it's picked up by Nurse. Bang pass to Kassian. Chips it by Giordano into the corners. They go, and Giordano saw or heard that train coming. And here comes the Flames captain. Out of the backhand to Gaudreau. Back to Bennett. Bennett shot, and it rises over the shoulder of Smith. Here's Johnny Gaudreau off the boards. Shoots, and he just missed. Bennett battling for the puck along with Bear. Cleared by McDavid back out to center. Here's that pass for Giordano. Second attempt gets it just inside the line, but mistimed, and it is an offside call.
Reaching up with that glove, gets enough of it to deflect it over top of the crossbar. That one came off hot.
Back by the Flames, Rasmus Andersson with a slap shot, blocker down by Smith. Saw that one all the way. Dubé battles for the puck along the sideboards. Backing into him is Benning. Sticks and skates. Everybody banging away, digging for that puck. And coming up with it is Gaetan Haas, who lobs it out of the zone. Turns it over, chase on, poke check. And the Flames avert a turnover inside their own line. Here's Dylan Dubé, cuts into the middle, lost control of the puck, and it's turned back by Haas. That line at the end of a shift peels back to the bench. And out comes Travis Hamonic. Hamonic goes near side to Matthew Tkachuk, who's Calgary's leading scorer. Territory usually reserved for Johnny Gaudreau, but not this season. It is Tkachuk leading the way right now. Here's Shillington at center and beyond. Steps inside the line, leads it for Tkachuk. He'll put it as the opposite corner where Andrew Mangiapane is. 2 goals for him in the Battle of Alberta on Wednesday night. Russell just gets it out, almost gave it up to Lindholm, and now here comes McDavid. Forcing Hamonic into the corner, who does well, but Sheahan follows up with the play, and McDavid and Hamonic get all tangled up. Russell is down low for Edmonton. Sheahan back down deep. McDavid centers it to Russell. His backhander hits a body. Into the final minute now of this first period. Edmonton scored twice in the opening minute and a half. Calgary responded, and then McDavid has made it 3-1 on the power play. Here's Draisaitl. Draisaitl down low and in front for Nugent Hopkins, and he just missed. Knocked down and curled back by Draisaitl. He'll reset backside for Nurse. Nurse taking his time, and he feeds Nugent Hopkins, who's got a career-high 7-game point streak coming into tonight. He's up with the play of the forecheck. So is Yamamoto. Johnny Gaudreau receives the pass and starts out. Gaudreau, little backhander. Eventually reaches the Edmonton net, batted away by Smith. And Nugent Hopkins back up the ice for the Oilers as time winds down. And Edmonton will take a 2-goal lead into the dressing room. All set to drop the puck in the second period. We are nicely into round 4, the Battle of Alberta. Edmonton with a 2-goal lead to start this middle frame. And the quick start with 2 goals in the first minute and 5 seconds. Flames work the puck down the ice. Off the skates of Bennett. Smith sweeps it around. Lifted back out by Edmonton. Bounces right back to Travis Hamonic. Hamonic up to Bennett and just inside the Edmonton line. Back it up is Larson. His bank pass missed the mark, looking for Nugent Hopkins. Shillington snaps that one in. Back into the corner. Larson. Edmonton comes away with Leon Draisaitl. Up the right side, still battling for that puck, trying to center it. Goes in behind the net, now to the corner for Draisaitl. Back to the point for Ethan Bear. Bear inside for Nugent Hopkins, just got away from him. And Giordano will take over from there. In comes Nugent Hopkins with a little body check. And he rolls inside the Edmonton zone. And a penalty call is made.
Yeah, it's going to be Darnell Nurse here. Got a stick tangled in the feet of Elias Lindholm and took him down. Right away goes to the box. Knew his stick was in a place it probably shouldn't have been.
Flames control the puck off the faceoff. They work it back to the point. Giordano walks the line, hangs onto the puck, fires a wrist shot, and it's knocked down by Edmonton. A very good shot blocking team, and here comes the #1 shot blocker down the ice. Clip off of the shot right on Riddick, and he will hold on for the faceoff.
Settle things down.
Yeah, he's really regained his balance, hasn't he, after that tough start, which we've seen from him before. I didn't really expect anything would be different with him. Here come the Flames up the ice. Gaudreau trying to pick his way in, lost the handle, and it's clear. Out comes Riddick way out of his net with Archibald closing in on him. Gosh, Archibald's got a couple of short-handers this season. Now Nugent Hopkins to Kara. Kara with a shot, and it's partially deflected away by Nugent Hopkins with a second effort, just goes wide. Nugent Hopkins now on this penalty kill for Edmonton. Puts it deep. Gaudreau having a little trouble there. Works it up the boards. Gets it back from Lindholm. Under a minute remaining in this Flames power play. Lindholm just inside the line. Into the corner goes Tkachuk. Pokes it to the opposite side. Monahan gives it back to Tkachuk. Matthew Tkachuk swings it around the boards, met by Lindholm. Lindholm to Monahan. Hannafin gets that puck to sit down, and it didn't quite stop bouncing on him, and it comes out. Monahan sends it back in. Flames are having trouble getting shots here with just 20 seconds remaining in this man advantage. A great opportunity for them in the early stage of this second period.
Being denied right now. That was a great play by Smith to come out, get enough of that puck to slow it down to allow Ethan Bear to play it. Would have been possession for the Flames.
Hannafin up the ice. Drops it off for Anderson. Anderson banks it off the end boards. Then far side. Back to the point. Team's back at even strength. No shots on that power play. Here's McDavid and shoots, scores!
McDavid with his second of the night. And it's 4-1.
We'll talk about a quick change. That was Darnell Nurse coming out of the box, came straight across the ice and literally had to jump into the bench to allow McDavid to jump on and receive this pass up the ice. Timing is everything in this game, and for McDavid, he pounced on that puck once he jumped on, came down, and didn't elected to shoot it. Didn't want to pass across on a 2-on-1. Here it is here. And again, an aggressive penalty kill that'll pick off. That pass comes up, and you can see Nurse does his best job to get over there quickly, jump onto the bench, and it's McDavid that picks it up. A dangerous player walking in on the offside, and he picks the corner on Riddick, and that's going to be the night for David Riddick. As Cam Talbot now in between the pipes with the Calgary Flames after 4 goals go by Riddick. An early one here in this second period after a power play for the Flames. Doesn't really amount to a whole lot. It's a big chunk of that shot of McDavid, but it finds its way through. And just not Riddick's night tonight. It started off with 2 quick goals in succession by Edmonton. They battled back to make it a 2-1 game. Then the power play goal by McDavid, and the early one in this second make it 4-1.
And this night ends a whole lot differently for Riddick than it did on Wednesday night.
So Talbot comes in for the Flames. 4-0-1 in his last 5. He's been playing well, and now he's got to hold the ship, hold the fort here for the Flames as they try to claw back into what is now a 3-goal deficit on home ice. Edmonton has clearly had enough of losing to Calgary this season and in this building. They dump it back into the zone. Chase on. Backhander reaches Reeder and then rolls to Backlund. Backlund puts it wide to Toby Reeder. Reeder trying to feed across, and it rolled just away from Hamonic back out to center. Shillington backs up. Haas watching him. Off the stick of Lindholm. Smith works it into the corner from Matt Benning. This one knocked down. Flames come in wide open, and that shot goes wide from Lindholm. Thought that may have been offside, but he got a shot away and just fired it wide. Tkachuk sweeps it in. Mangiapane behind the Edmonton net, centers it out in front. They score! Matthew Tkachuk.
Big response by the Flames. Tkachuk makes it 4-2.
Huge response. Mangiapane started it all off, little pick out of the air of the puck, and it set up a great chance for Lindholm on a one-timer. Then they go right back into the zone. On the forecheck, you heard Cassie talk about this on the panel. Both teams trying to establish that forecheck, gain possession, work off the cycle, and what a job by Tkachuk. 2 players on him all over, but he somehow finds a way to shovel that puck towards the net, gets enough on it to beat Smith on a second opportunity. The one by Lindholm, I think Smith might have got a piece of it on the one-time shot, but they come right back into the zone, and that is a huge goal for the Flames. After the goaltender gets pulled, Cam Talbot goes in between the pipes. That's a great response by them to make it a 2-goal game.
Tkachuk, as mentioned, the leading point man for the Flames, but it's been tough sledding for him in terms of scoring goals. Just 1 in his last 12. Well, that's a big one. Mangiapane draws the assist on Tkachuk's 17th of the season. 4-2, 4.5 minutes into the second. And here comes Yamamoto, forcing a turnover up to Draisaitl, and he fired it wide. Edmonton coming right back. Here's Yamamoto on the backhand, trying to feed it in front. That's cut off. As the Flames are under attack quickly.
Back the other way comes Gaudreau. Gaudreau challenged by Bear. Bear bank pass. Finds Nugent Hopkins. He works it back and across to Connor Yamamoto. They'll make the save play, lifting this one out to center ice. Hamonic across to Shillington. Shillington off the stick of Ryan and in. Nurse challenged, gets it back, puts it to open ice. Hanifin gets there first and keeps it deep. Puck comes all the way around the boards to Rasmus Andersson. His shot blocked by Nurse and picked up by Shan. Up ahead, Nugent Hopkins stepping in, shoots, save, Talbot. And the rebound swept into the corner. Center pass, Shan shoots. And Talbot may have gotten a piece of that. Cam Talbot against his old team. Keeping it a 2-goal game.
Not easy saves when you get right in between the pipes. Was that his first or second one? Terrific save by him on Nugent Hopkins.
Yeah, welcome to the game. Wow. This one rolls in on Smith, and he will hold on. And now Lucic gets a little engaged to the side of the net.
Well, you just knew with the way this game was going, with the way this series has gone all season long.
Edmonton with a 2-goal lead. Lindholm in the corner. Andrew Mangiapane, he is checked by Nurse. In comes Lindholm, Nurse to Archibald. Nice little move, but then he's stripped by Mangiapane, and then he gives it away to McDavid. And McDavid takes off, left side, sends it across. Cassian shoots, that's blocked by Giordano. Brody picks it up and takes off from there. Just across center, wrister in, knocked down by that trusty stick of Smith. And it's worked back out to center ice. Backed up ahead and moved in by Monahan. Tkachuk throws it across. Picked off easily there by McDavid, who was back in the play. Yamamoto forced back. As Tkachuk puts it across. Johnny Gaudreau dancing and shoots. Big stop by Smith on Johnny Hockey.
And some extra afterwards in front of Smith as Tkachuk drove to the net. And just a little bobble of a puck in the neutral zone. And Yamamoto tried to bring it back into the zone. Tkachuk standing on the doorstep.
Rodano, the reigning Norris Trophy winner, couple of assists tonight. Here's Buddy Robinson, who's got a goal and a fight this evening. Nugent Hopkins springs Draisaitl. Draisaitl goes wide to Yamamoto. Return feed to Draisaitl. He's cut off by Anderson. Draisaitl hangs onto the puck. Drops it back for Nugent Hopkins. The Draisaitl works it down the wall. Hanifin trying to lean on the big guy. And that goes off the skate near side. Here's Klefbom on the drive. Saved by Talbot. Rebound got that too. Puck stays alive. Klefbom around the boards, met by Larson. Draisaitl in towards the net. Yamamoto tied up in front by Anderson. Waiting for it is Nugent Hopkins. This line has been so good for Edmonton for the last 10 games. Here's Jones. Caleb Jones walks the line, dumps it off to Nugent Hopkins. Back down low for Draisaitl, or beg your pardon, that's Chiasson. He's forced out as it rolled off of his stick. Near side for Jones. Back into the middle, Haas now. Gaetan Haas with a shot, saved by Talbot. Rebound picked up by the Edmonton. Jones sends it back in. Out comes Talbot. Talbot tries to play it. Edmonton takes over. They try to bank it in tight. And Talbot recovered and made that stop. Edmonton all over Calgary right now. There's Gagne with a chance. He is flattened right in front of the net. Big drive by Benning, and Talbot stopped that. Flames are getting leaned on right now. They clear it up to center. Ryan reaching for it, and here he comes. Derek Ryan is stopped by Smith. What a huge stop that was. Against the flow of play, Mike Smith with a big save and a breakaway by Ryan.
What a turnaround for the Flames. They bend but don't break in the defensive zone. Numerous chances for Edmonton, and Derek Ryan just follows up that puck, pounces on it in on low, tries to go 5-hole.
Edmonton dumps it in. Hamonic first man back. Makes the play near side for Bennett. Bennett just gets it around Russell. Up ahead to Lucic at center. Backlund's dump in, doesn't go. He'll go wide. Back to center for Hamonic. Hamonic snaps it in. Over the stick of Smith, into the opposite corner. Lucic goes in hard there against Bear. Sheahan to Russell. He stood up. Shillington back into the corner. Over the stick of Lucic. Bennett comes flying in to apply a hit against Ethan Bear. Now Brody picks it up for the Flames. Gives it up to Giordano. Milan Lucic at the end of his shift just dumps that one in. Here's a turnover. Lindholm waits. Trying to feed it on in front. Smith down. They score! Banked in off of Smith. Lindholm makes it a one-goal game.
Great patience by Lindholm here. The aggressive pursuit of the puck has paid off with a couple great chances, with one goal and now a second one. And it's just a bobble puck. One split second too late. That puck is pounced on. The pass doesn't go through. And just a heads-up play by Lindholm. That's his 12th goal now in his 18th game against the Edmonton Oilers. He banks it off of Smith into the net. He's got the hot hand, his 22nd of the year. Just excellent patience by him to wait that split second, look for that chance, and put it home.
Calgary's leading goal scorer. Makes it 4-3. Edmonton back the other way. McDavid dancing around, trying to find some room. He shoots. Talbot got a piece. Checked his shoulder. It was right there. And Brody scooped it out of the crease. Wow. This game looks like it's going to be one of those nights.
It's been one of those years in the Battle of Alberta. I'll tell you, aside from the first game that was a blowout by the Flames, it's been just a battle.
Here they come again. Gaudreau, sharp-angled shot. Bennett on the rebound as the initial drive was blocked. Gaudreau, who was stopped earlier by Mike Smith. Picked up by Hamonic. Hamonic steps into the zone, drops it off for Bennett. Bennett's cut off, and now here comes Leon. Draisaitl up in the play. On the back end, Cassidy was shot, and Talbot got a piece. Cam Talbot off the bench into the fire, and he is standing tall.
9 saves for Talbot. He has been unbelievable since he stepped in there.
And here's Draisaitl again. In shoots, save, rebound, they score! Ryan Nugent-Hopkins.
And it's a 2-goal lead again for Edmonton.
And what a job by the Oilers to continue to attack Cam Talbot, who has been fantastic. Cassian looks a little shaken up on the bench on that last play when he gets this great chance off a wicked feed by Draisaitl to dangle onto the backhand. He takes the shot, and then he goes into the end boards really aggressively here. Bam. And he's still a little shaken up on the bench as he went back, and then the Oilers just continue to attack. Turnover, Draisaitl, that save there by Talbot.
And then the patience by Yamamoto. Great job by him to fake out Talbot, put it over to Nugent-Hopkins, and he puts it home. It took 11 shots, I believe, to get one by Talbot in short succession.
So it's 5-3. Flames back on the attack. That shot is blocked. And that Draisaitl line continues to carry the mail for Edmonton. It's now an 8-game point streak for Nugent-Hopkins. An 11-game streak for Draisaitl. He got that in the first period. Under 8 minutes to go. Here in the second period. Chase on. Leaned on there by Hanifin. Lucic is in there as well. So is Ryan. Comes back to the line for Nurse. Darnell Nurse bands on it and recovered just in time as Robinson was on to him. Gagne tried to center it, could not. Lucic, his pass intercepted and controlled by Bear. Bear up ahead to Sheahan. Shot goes wide, picked up far side by Russell. Russell to Sheahan. Curls back, he's got Kara out in front, and he just missed him. Rolls back to Nurse, banks it off the end boards. Jujar Kara now. Leaned on by Lucic. Russell works it out of the corner, gets it to Nurse. He'll work it across. Adam Larsson in front. Talbot made a save and a redirect right in front. Edmonton centers it off the paddle of Talbot. Oh, great pressure by the Oilers. And it's sent back in. Whitecaps are 15-4 Edmonton in this period. Brody with a bang pass. Benning steps up on Dubé. Puck goes into the corner. Cassian. Little back pass picked up by McDavid. McDavid cutting in, and it is offside at the Calgary blue line. 6:11 to go, Louis, in the second.
Take a moment now to harken back to the much talked about stick flip celebration by David Rittich following the Oilers' shootout win on Thursday. It was just Rittich being Rittich, but you have to assume the Oilers didn't like it. And tonight, driven from the net by Edmonton as he skated by the Oilers bench, he was roundly chirped by almost every Oilers player. We assume the stick flip celebration was referenced. Dave?
Yeah, around here that's just David being David. But in Edmonton, they viewed it a whole different way.
Brody trying to find Tkachuk, who was laboring, heading back to the Flames bench, holding his hip.
Yep.
Did not see what happened there. He remains on the bench. Work back inside the Flames blue line. Talbot sweeps that one back into the corner. Bennett trying to step around Nugent Hopkins and could not do so cleanly. Brody puts it across to Giordano. Johnny Gaudreau steps into the zone, beats Giordano, and he sweeps it across. Here's Bennett opposite side, lost the handle, turned over, and skated back down the ice by Nugent Hopkins. He tried to go inside to McDavid, and it's batted to the line, not out, picked up again by Monahan. Bang play, up to center for Nugent Hopkins, onto the backhand, and in. Talbot gave it up there, and it stays in behind the net. Gets a little help from Hamonic. Nurse stepping up the plate, trying to keep that puck deep. Yamamoto battling forward as well. Here's Draisaitl. Onto his backhand, cycles it back, waiting for it. It's Yamamoto out front. Nugent Hopkins shoots. Another big stop by Talbot. Draisaitl in towards the net. Hamonic knocks that one down. Robinson's pass. Again, a stick in the lane by Edmonton. Yamamoto back the other way. Into the slot. Draisaitl, nice move. In deep. And Talbot makes the stop on Draisaitl, who's dancing again tonight. There's a drive and a save by Talbot on the blast by Bear. In this period, Edmonton controls off the draw. Benning, no lane to shoot, so he dumps it in. Waiting for it is Chiasson. Alex Chiasson trying to cut back on Shillington. Lugging that puck into the corner in his 500th career game. He'll put it back for Haas. Haas off the wall, back to the point. They score! Caleb Jones with a drive. May have been tipped in front, but it is a 3-goal lead for the Oilers.
Low by Chiasson, though. He was the one that drove it out of the corner, worked it there, right there for sure. Just kind of knuckles up, maybe hits the stick in the middle of the lane. But it had eyes. It's a good job by Jones, though, to not try and do too much with that shot. A lot of times you want to rip it. It's the half slapper. Make sure you're making the contact on the screen in front of Chiasson once again. No chance for Talbot on that one.
Sure looks like Chiasson may have gotten a piece. We'll wait for the official announcement. It was Jones with a shot. And here come the Oilers again. Russell trying to jam play in tight. And it goes into the corner. Edmonton out shooting Calgary tonight, 33-15 overall. They've got 6 on the board. They started early, and they've leaned on it ever since. They had 4 2-goal leads, and now their first 3-goal lead of the night. Out of the corner is Kara. He is met, and it's picked up now by Russell. Patrick Russell back to Klefbom. Sent back in for Kara. McDavid off the bench. Feeds it to Larson. Larson back it up. Goes for a skate on his backhand. Gets a shot in tights on Talbot. Makes the stop. Holds on. Russell gets engaged.
NHL game.
Right now they're saying it's Jones' goal. We'll see if they change it, but give it to Caleb Jones. And if that's the case, then his goals on back-to-back nights for him. Lindholm sends it off the end boards. Another shot kicked aside by Smith. Rebound into a crowd, and Smith finds it and hangs on. This one's pulled to the boards. Monahan trying to dig it free. Fed to the point for Brody. Brody puts it across. Waiting for it is Giordano. His shot. Smith the stop. And Yamamoto makes one little move and they're out. His pass to Nugent Hopkins. Draisaitl winds in. Little stick check from behind by Monahan. Prevented a shot that Draisaitl was looking for. Neither, but they have been in charge pretty much all night. Nearing the end of this second period. They played last night in a spirited win, a big win for them against St. Louis. Jones puts it back into the corner. Benning is there, so is Derek Ryan. Josh Archibald can't clear the zone. It stays in there momentarily, and now it's lifted up and out.
Just another twisting motion disrupted and aggravated that hit. He went down the tunnel into the room for a while, but he's back on the bench for the Flames.
Backlund lugs that puck around, gets it to Bennett. Bennett looking for Anderson back door. And it didn't get there cleanly, and this one again is lifted up and out of play. He is their heart and soul, isn't he?
Absolutely. He makes a lot of things tick for this team. He just drags people into the fight with him.
Draisaitl back inside for Yamamoto, batted off of his stick. And the Flames get it outside the line. Ryan back the other way. Cut off by Klefbom and Larson. And Larson works it back up the boards. Hammond against center, sends it back in. Out it goes. Ryan trying to hold on to it there. Lucic is in there as well. Into the final minute of the second. Wide side pass to Nugent Hopkins. And that is an offside call.
It allows them to keep that line separated, especially Draisaitl from McDavid. Makes it a much tougher matchup for the opposition.
He was in the opening night lineup in each of the last 2 seasons. But he looks like a different player now, the former first-round pick, doesn't he?
Well, you know what he said? He just knew what to expect coming up. He's had a few tastes. He wants to stay up here, wants to battle to stay in the lineup every night.
Back inside, Tim Talbot reaches back. And that is whistled down, and nobody is happy now.
In came Gagne with a late poke, and look out as Talbot is into it, and he wants a piece of somebody back there.
And Gagne's coming back at Giordano, and now Giordano's coming up too. This thing blew over in a hurry.
And Smith is coming up the center ice as this thing comes unglued.
And Bear in the high slot here fighting. Looks like with Matthew Tkachuk.
It's Tkachuk and Bear, and they are trading them. Bear comes over the top of the right. Tkachuk comes back, and Mike Smith is going to go at center ice. Talbot and Smith. Proven on both sides of this Battle of Alberta. This is unbelievable.
Wow. Both guys played for the other team respectively the year before in the Battle of Alberta. They're going against each other. And Mike Smith came right to center. Talbot said, you know what, let's do this. And shrapnel on the ice right there.
It is a yard sale out there, and the people in this building can't believe what they just saw.
Well, there it is there, and Talbot lays down on his back, and it was underneath him, but Gagne jams through under the armpit. They take exception. Everybody comes in, including Talbot, and then a couple shots unanswered by Gagne on Giordano. He looks like he gets up, and he's not too happy about that, and then Tkachuk separates with Bear, and they go out and had a pretty good doozy till 2. Both of them got some shots in. Ethan Bear's first scrap in the NHL. With this thing, that 3-goal lead, we talked about it. Could this thing boil over with the history this year, especially carried over from last year in the Battle of Alberta? And then, you know what? Mike Smith standing in center, and Cam Talbot looks up the ice and says, you know what? Let's keep this thing going. And they go at it at a pretty spirited till 2. 2 big guys, too. You look at both of these guys off the ice. They're not your typical goaltenders. Talbot's a big dude, took a couple rights there. He comes back with one, and then as they go down, good job by Smith to pull up and not continue to wail away. But 2 big guys off the ice, too. They have at it, too. But obviously, we're going to see a couple different goaltenders in between the pipes for both teams. Reddick's going to go back in, and Koskinen's coming in for the Oilers.
You know, they're sending both teams to the respective dressing rooms, and they're going to just resume the remainder of the second period after things cool down.
Well, they got to sort things out. That's everybody that was involved on the ice, and you heard Blankenburg talk about it. The skill, the scoring, the speed is great, but this is great too.
Wow.
Comes available to us. What a night here in Calgary. Klefbom drops it off, and it's batted down the ice and into the corner. Klefbom gets there first and sweeps it around. Top power play in the league goes back to work. Here's Connor McDavid, who's got a power play goal tonight. He is stripped, and that'll do it for the second period. As time expires, and now the goaltenders will switch ends and will play the third.
Last time an emergency netminder had to come in an NHL game was Scott Foster for the Chicago Blackhawks. You can see the then coach, Joel Quendo, give him a little high five. This was March of 2018, and it was a 6-2 win for the Hawks. And he got a huge ovation.
He was a
Sunday night at a center. Yeah, unbelievable.
He was great.
But as for this one, we have now really seen it all in the Battle of Alberta, as that was the very first goalie scrap in the history of the Battle of Alberta.
Which is just amazing. I can't believe that, but incredible that's never happened before.
Well, I can tell you right now that the press box up here was absolutely buzzing. Fans were buzzing. And what do we got in store here in the third period? Draisaitl picking his way into the zone. Here's McDavid in the corner. Kicks it back to the point for Klefbom. Klefbom back to McDavid. 2 goals tonight across to Draisaitl. Did not get it all. And Riddick made the stop as Draisaitl's stick broke on the play.
That was a great chance. Nice pass by McDavid right through the seam, and as you saw, that stick just evaporated in Draisaitl's hands.
Out with the puck comes McDavid. 1 minute remaining in his Edmonton power play. Put back to the point for Klefbom. Near side for Draisaitl. Leon Draisaitl. Threw it back to the point. It's chipped free by Ryan. Ryan heading up the ice for the Flames, and he is skip checked there by Nugent Hopkins before he could get a shot. Into the middle of the ice for Klefbom. He'll leave it for Leon Draisaitl. Sharply across out of the reach of McDavid. Up the side boards. Robinson lost his footing there, and the Flames take over on the move, and away comes Brody. Brody up the ice, being hounded all the way down by Draisaitl. Robinson back to the point. Hanifin shot, partially deflected, never reached the net. Bang pass out of the reach of McDavid. As time expires on this Edmonton power play, rolls in on Koskinen. No shots for Edmonton with that man advantage. Mangiapane was serving the penalty, stepped into the box, and we're back to even strength. Lining it up as Yamamoto at center. Trying to make one move, and he is stood up there by Robinson. 6'6" Buddy Robinson. Yamamoto undeterred, leaves it for Haas. Snap shot, partially blocked there by Hanifin, who is smarting. I think it came up and caught him in the face. Back to the point. Jones traps it. Puts it down low. Yamamoto kicked there by Anderson. Spun back for Zach Kassian. Kassian waiting in behind the net. Back in towards the goal. That one goes wide. And near side by Jones. His wrister tipped. Hanifin still laboring a little bit. He's going to head to the bench, and he's holding on to his chin or neck area.
Yeah, it's the right side for Hanifin. Great job by him to stick it out, stay out there, and battle through the shit to get that puck out of his zone.
Bennett out in front for Lucic. And he couldn't get a shot away. Here's Sam Bennett on his backhand. Ends up with Lucic. Milan Lucic out of the corner. Looking around. Feeds it off. Back to Hamonic, and he tried a one-timer and banned on that one. In towards the net. Ooh, that almost took a Flames bounce off the stick of Nurse, but instead rolls into the corner. No damage. Nurse kicks it back to Jones. Lucic came in on Nurse at the end of that play. And that is icing to the right of Mikko Koskinen. Johnny Gaudreau looking for a lane, trying a sharp angle shot, and it is stopped by Koskinen. Kassian banks this one off the boards. Brody can't control it. Edmonton steps back in. Jujhar Khaira angled off by Brody, who lost his stick on the play. Larson runs over the stick that's on the ice, still with the puck, dancing around high in the zone. Khaira with a shot, blocked by Brody. Will it his stick? Sent back into the corner. It's Russell. Russell now wraparound play made by Riddick. Rebound, and it's snapped high by Klefbom and out of play. With goaltender details, let's send you back down to Scott.
Okay, Dave, here is the emergency goaltender situation. There is a league requirement that one be on standby in every NHL arena, and that's the case here tonight. He is Colin Cooper, who played for the Mount Royal University Cougars. He'll be on standby for both teams, which will work unless both Riddick and Koskinen had to leave the game, and we won't go that far just yet.
You know, this leads to so many questions, Louis. I mean, how many more guys do they have in the building who can play net?
But because not out of the realm of possibility.
Tonight, it is not out of the realm of possibility. You just never know. What a wild scene we've had here tonight. But Edmonton up by 3 on the scoreboard. Here's Brody. Saucers it across into the skates of Robinson. Lucic follows up, puts it back. Lindholm shoots, and he fired it wide. What a chance there for Lindholm, who's got a goal tonight. His 22nd. Lucic can't hold his ground, then he reaches back and does keep it inside the line. Adam Larsson banks it up ahead to Kassian. Rolls back to Hanifin, who's back out there for his next shift after taking that puck up high in the face. Backlund starts up the left side, looking around, beats it out in front, over the net to the opposite side. Hanifin can't hold it, and it rolls back for Hanifin. 5 minutes gone in this third. Puck gets away from Gaudreau. And here's Sam Gagner now. Gagner and Lowe's. There's a shot by Jones. Saved by Riddick. And the puck goes up and into the netting for a stoppage in all but 6 games since. Mangiapane saw that hit coming. Rolls to center ice and inside the line. Bennett battling for position. And it's picked up by Jones. Jones bang pass. Held just inside the line by Mangiapane. Sam Bennett takes a check from Jones. Separates him from the puck. And Haas takes over from there. Jason lifts that one back in, and Riddick will stop it in behind his net. Shillington goes across to Anderson. Rasmus Anderson to Shillington, and up into the middle of the ice for Tkachuk. Turned back, picked off by Yamamoto. Yamamoto's been everywhere tonight, puts it back, ends up at the point, Bear with a shot, and it rises high and wide on the Flames net. DJ Brody trying to skate it out of trouble, hounded all the way on the way back by Yamamoto, and it forces the puck back inside the Flames line. Just to the line. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins flips that one in, and it's stopped by Riddick and played to Giordano. Back inside the blue line. Khaira. Here's Russell now forcing the issue. His shot stopped and held by Riddick. And now Russell having a discussion with the Flames captain.
We kid you not. Welcome to 80s night at Scotiabank Saddledome, Dave.
And there'll be lots of hype and talk and things written and said before the 5th and final meeting this season, which, as we've heard by now, is on the last night of the regular season, on a Saturday night, on a hockey night.
They settle themselves down, nothing extra after.
David's line came out after the television timeout. You wonder how much more the big guys will play down the stretch. Here's Lindholm with a shot, saved by Koskinen. That's an excellent stop by Mikko Koskinen on Lindholm, who again has been dangerous for Calgary. McDavid back the other way. Brody picks up the puck. cuts back on Cassian and comes near side to Giordano. At center ice, here's Lucic with a big lane. Lucic in, shoots it. Koskinen, the Battle of Alberta, of course. Lots of fans making the trip from northern Alberta. Vancouver won again today. They beat the Islanders in overtime, so they will hang on to top 5, but one of these two teams trying to keep the pressure on the Canucks for the lead in the Pacific Division. And what will be a very tight race, it seems, all the way down the stretch. Hamonic backs up and puts it across to Hanifin. Up ahead to center ice. There's Tkachuk trying to take that one on his backhand, and it rolls in there for Larson. The Edmonton Oilers, Louis, since New Year's Eve, 7-1-2, the third best points percentage in the NHL. So they came in here hot, as did the Flames, but Edmonton has really been the better team overall tonight. That one sent in there. Koskinen reaching back, and nobody for Calgary could find that one. Anderson down low. It's Larson sending it around the boards. Knocked down at center ice by Shillington.
Put a couple good saves by Koskinen for Edmonton. They're really in shutdown mode right now, clogging up the neutral zone, not getting aggressive on the forecheck, just making the Flames come through numbers.
Mangiapane. Check there by Larson. Jones who lost his footing in behind the Edmonton net, but it ends up on the far boards. Moves out by Chason. Flames turn it over, or get the turnover forced, and they turn it back the other way. Here's Ryan. Ryan in towards the net and just into the reach of Mangiapane. Anderson now saucers it back for Giordano. Got over his stick and all the way down the ice.
That was a nice back track by Mangiapane. To follow up that point I was going to say, but for Edmonton, they can't just sit back entirely. The compete level still has to be up. Calgary doesn't think they're out of this game at all. They're going to continue to push. They've had some good chances.
Here's Rader with a shot and a kick. Save made by Koskinen, who's been forced to make a couple here in the last few minutes. And back the other way they come. Dubé to Reader, wide shoots, and Koskinen hangs on. No rebound.
And finding a cure for ALS, so Chris Snow remains an inspiration to a lot of people, Dave.
Absolutely great story. As highlighted recently on After Hours. Meantime, his team having a long night here. The first Battle of Alberta this season was in Edmonton, and it was all Calgary in the Oilers barn, and this one is the opposite of that, really, don't you think, Louis?
I do, yeah. The two in between were fantastic games. The Flames pulled out in the wins, but they were terrific games right from the start to the finish. This one here, right out of the gates. Edmonton comes out with a couple quick goals. The Flames made it a one-goal game on the goal by Lindholm to make it 4-3 in the second. But then since then, it's been all Edmonton. As you mentioned, that second period alone, they outshot them 24-7. Put on the pressure.
So now they're just trying to chip away. 9 minutes to go in regulation. In comes Larson with a hit on Backlund. That bomb originally overskated the puck, recovers, and Edmonton works it back out to center. Kara does not chip it cleanly past Giordano, picked up by Sheahan. Sheahan steps in, his shot right on, and Riddick makes the easy stop.
Again, and I think they feel that. They just want to try and put a blanket on this. But at the same time, you got to continue to compete because the Flames aren't going to go away. They haven't all year long. And momentum can swing pretty quickly.
4-on-4. Giordano. Little stutter step, creates a little room for Lindholm, and that is offside as he just lost the handle as he was entering the zone. McDavid along the side boards, back to Nurse, and that comes outside the line, and he'll back up. Ethan Bear. Nugent Hopkins starts up the ice and gains the zone. Closing on him is Hanifin. Lindholm works it across. Travis Hamonic long pass up the ice to Matthew Tkachuk. Tkachuk just inside the line. He's got a goal tonight. Little move, and he lost the grip on the puck as well, and Nugent Hopkins just lobs it down. Picked up again by Tkachuk. Monahan starts out. Monahan, who got into the first fight of his career on Wednesday against Ryan Nugent-Hopkins for just his third. Draisaitl straight up the middle. And that shot is deflected up and out of play.
Two guys that don't usually battle.
In behind the net, Yamamoto digging for the puck against Brody. Brody angling him off. Bodies him off of the puck, and Anderson helps out and gives it up to Monahan. Johnny Gaudreau made one move around Draisaitl, but lost the possession of the puck, and it's worked across to Klefbom. 7 minutes remaining in regulation. Draisaitl into the corner for Klefbom. Klefbom in the corner, back up high for Sam Gagner. Gagner winds and scores! Sam Gagner!
Fires one home, and it is 7-3.
Quick slapper by Gagner. Gets by Riddick here, and a good job by him. He was the one that started that whole scrum off with the extra poke into Talbot. Talbot gave him a few shots. He went after Giordano. And for Gagner, he's been in a number of these Battle of Albertas. No question about that. He's familiar with this. Walks in, uses a little bit of a screen on that half slapper, but a shot than Riddick. From that distance, I don't think it tipped, just beats him. Just beats him high over the left shoulder. And the celebration by Gagner.
Sam Gagner, who is a depth player now for the Edmonton Oilers. So down the stretch, you play a lot of teams in Eurovision.
There's to pick up valuable points. We got to be prepared every night to do the job, and they're doing the job tonight. 7 goals on the board here in Calgary from their provincial rivals. It is officially a rout. Robinson out to center. Sam Bennett trying to force the issue back the other way. Checked off of his stick, and it goes into the corner. Robinson sends it all the way around the boards, hustling to keep it over, and in is Hanifin. Here's Ryan. Ryan being watched there by Gaetan Haas. Jones does the rest, and out comes Matt Benning. Matt Benning, who waited a long time to get back into the lineup. Out with a concussion, got back in, and he's made an immediate impact, and they're glad to have him back, especially now with Chris Russell out for the time being. And that is icing against the Flames.
Round out the top 4.
Nujar Karam, the inlet pass to Nurse. Nurse snaps the puck in, rattles all the way around the boards, and we're going to get a penalty here.
Which you don't see too often.
Back to the points. Edmonton controls again off the draw. Ethan Bear to Nurse. Nurse steps in, banks it back to Bear. Bear sets him a one-timer. There's Gagner in front. Looking for a tip there. Didn't get it. Edmonton with giving the #1 power play unit a little well-deserved rest. And it's a power play time to some guys who've earned it tonight. Like Bear, slapper right on, hits the outside of the post after it was tipped in front. Yamamoto battling down low, picked up by the Flames, and Hamonic sends it down. Tkachuk in the box for the Flames. 1:10 to go in this power play. Russell lifts that one into the corner. Off the glass, and Klefbom banks it back in. Here's McDavid to Josh Archibald. Archibald trying to center it, and it goes off a skate right to Ryan and back down the ice. With 45 seconds remaining in the too-many-men call against the Flames. Here comes McDavid winding it up. Leads the league in power play points. Draisaitl is second. And the Flames get it done again, sending it back down.
Quick closure by Brody there on McDavid into the corner. Just a good job by him to match the speed, get there first, and a little chop of the puck to allow it to be put down 200 feet.
Turned over, back the other way. Momentarily there was Robinson. McDavid stripped him of the puck, and they regained possession, although that pass got away. Here's Giordano, and was in a good shooting position, and it got away from him. It's been that kind of night. Back the other way comes Russell. His shot, getting a piece of it was Riddick, and it goes up and out of play.
Great success with both organizations. One of the good guys in the game as well. Played with him early in my career. Just a fantastic teammate. Looking forward to talking to him.
Yeah, you've got a good story too, so we'll just promo it by saying stick around for that. It's a great story, involved ginseng.
He was ahead of his time. That's all I'll say.
Draw comes back to the point for Shillington. Shillington to Anderson. On Japani. Sam Bennett gets onto his backhand. Trying to cut into the slot. Ryan takes over from there. Derek Ryan back to Shillington. Lowe shoots, and that one goes wide. Rasmus Anderson keeps it deep for the Flames. Hit by Ryan. He's surrounded by a couple of Oilers. Sam Bennett down. Bennett's cut off by Sheahan. Stays inside the blue line, but this one's going to bounce outside. And that is going to be an offside call.
Was reversed tonight. They did battle back, as I mentioned, to make it a one-goal game. And after that, it's been pretty much all Edmonton.
You're right. It's all about the points right now with 30 or so games remaining on everybody's schedule. Over the last 10 years, the playoffs in Alberta, Louis, Calgary's made it 3 times. They've won 1 series. Edmonton, as everybody knows, has made it once. In 2017, they won a series. Here's Haas up the ice. Saved by Riddick, and this might be, are they going to get it? Now it's Tkachuk who's engaged, and the pitch fly again as Matthew Tkachuk is tossing him.
Well, you just knew there was no way they were going to let Haas get in there all alone. And he was, no question, disrupted all the way to the net. There still hasn't been a call, an initial one, but
I'm pretty sure they signaled a penalty shot, and then, you know, Tkachuk came in there so quickly.
It's been awarded to Edmonton.
There you go.
There you go.
And then we have Tevin misconduct. Calgary, number 19.
so misconduct to Tkachuk that will send him to the dressing room, and it is going to be a penalty shot.
And
so
it looked like Haas was going into the box, which is now not the case, so he, in fact, will get a chance to take his first career penalty shot in the NHL. He hasn't even taken a shootout attempt. In the meantime, there's more discussion down on those benches right around you, Louis.
Yeah, Mangiapane and Chiasson still having that conversation after the butt end. And I think Chiasson was just sent down the bench and into the dressing room.
So why not? In a game that's had everything.
Might as well have a penalty shot from Gaetan Haas. In there on Riddick. Scores! Thought he might do the stick flip.
No, that'd be a little too much
That
right
would
now.
be a little
I
much.
don't think they want to
It
throw.
will be an all-out crawl.
Well, a nice move by Haas, you know, walks in, little patience, little flair, leg kick, 5-hole. Made that look easy. Came in with a lot of speed, and Yamamoto. Yeah. So the gamesmanship continues as Yamamoto saying no flip on that one.
You flip that stick.
Wow. Yeah, these two teams, I'll tell you, this isn't over. This is not over. This is just beginning.
This could be a long minute 57 seconds.
It's
potentially.
seriously, the tension, you could cut it with a knife right now in here.
Well, and over the boards comes Kara and Sheahan and Russell, who's been engaged a couple of times tonight.
Flames with a puck off the draw. Hannafin off the stick of Robinson. Rolls to Benning. Benning across to Jones. Off the center ice and off the stick of Jujhar Khaira. Khaira working against Hamonic. Hannafin spins it near side for Sam Bennett. Bennett to Robinson, who's had a fight tonight. There's Backlund with a shot, weak and wide. Costin is tracking that the whole way. Onto the back end of Riley Sheahan and down the ice. Back inside the line. Bang back out as both teams change it up on the fly for the final shift of the night. Russell's giving a hit there by Shillington at the end of that play. And the fans that remain like that. Long man pass up ahead for Reeder. Bodied there by Nurse. Here's Bear in behind his net. Works it up the boards in the final minutes. Puck goes up in the air, rolls out in front, and Gagne just plays it back to his own netminder to get a face-off. Meeting in 3 weeks, that'll do that in this rivalry, right? And the second meeting in 4 nights. And now we will wait for the 5th and final meeting on April 4th. Russell in towards the net. Stopped by Redican behind the goal. Into the corner. And the Edmonton Oilers will keep on rolling. They're going to improve to 8-1-2 in their last 11 games as they've rolled into Calgary tonight and laid a beatdown on the Calgary Flames. In another eventful chapter of this Battle of Alberta. And it's over.
Or is it? Not quite yet. Russell and Hannafin going after it. It was Bennett behind the net that gave Russell a pretty good cross check. Patrick Russell's one of those physical players that plays on the edge, and he's been a burn the side of a few Flames tonight. They've had enough of him and started working up down the ice. Hannafin engaged with him, and I think they're just going to obviously let that 1 second run out. It is over.
They just ran it off the clock. That's right. So here are the updated standings. The Edmonton Oilers with 2 points move within 2 points of the first place Vancouver Canucks. But as you can see, it's still a big-time logjam all the way down to the Arizona Coyotes. What a race, what a sprint to the finish we are in for in the Pacific Division.